Hello and welcome to TelecomTV. We're at Mobile World Congress 2015 here in a rather chilly but bright Barcelona. It's day 4 of the show, the last day, so things are calming down a little. It's been a very, very big, very busy show. Word is there's been about 100,000 people here, which I can believe because it takes an hour and a half to get through the taxi rank and it's impossible to get onto the stations. Other than that, things have gone swimmingly. And I'm delighted to be talking with Jeff Edland, who is CTO Communications and Media Solutions at HP. Jeff, great to see you again.
Good to see you too, Mark.
We're here again, this time in Barcelona. We want to talk about the Internet of Things, but let's just put things into perspective. Every year at the show, it gets bigger, and every year there's a new theme or themes emerge. Seems at the moment, cloud, virtualization, intelligent internet, NFV, SDN, mobility, and IoT, the Internet of Things. Like you, I read a lot about this subject. I have seen, I'm sure you have, figures bandied about by 2020, 20 million devices connected, 30 billion devices connected, or 50 billion devices connected. Either way, it's a tremendous number. So, obviously a big opportunity there. How does HP see the Internet of Things? What do you make of the reality versus the hype?
Yeah, so I think that we've kind of transitioned from hype into reality. If you really analyze the Internet of Things, we've had devices that gave us interesting information that could help us improve our life for a while now. An example I like to use is the whole toll gate system on a freeway. You know, many of us now have some sort of a NFC tag on our car, and it allows us to pass through toll gates on a tollway without having to stop and actually exchange money, and you're automatically debited for the use of that roadway. Today, what's happening and what we're seeing here at Mobile World Congress is just the extension of that. There's all sorts of wearables that will help you monitor your fitness. There's any number of devices that can talk to you, allow you to automate features within your home, like your temperature control and your thermostat. And what I think is really causing not a revolution, but an evolution of where we've been to where we are today is an always connected experience, whether it be a fixed network connection, Wi-Fi, or the carrier providing a mobile connection. Now things can remain always connected and become part of the Internet of Things and add value to our lives.
The amount of data that is going to come from these devices and be transmitted across some kind of a network is going to be enormous. Do you think that the networks as they exist at the moment will be sufficient to carry all that traffic as well as everything else they have to carry?
I think that what's going to be very helpful in this regard is what I would call network diversity. So not everything is going to be connected up the same way.
Sure.
You're going to have some things that are going to connect through techniques that we are commonly used today, 3G, 4G. In the future, you'll see LTE Advanced, 5G add significant value. But then there are other things that are coming on, like Sigfox, that will give us a very low power, long range connection. So I think through the combination of all of the different networking types that we have, we'll be able to manage the ingestion of the data that all of these devices can produce.
What do you think is particularly driving IoT now? Is it the proliferation of devices? Is it the need for the devices and to get that information, the metrics, whatever it may be, back and forth? Or is it simply the fact that people want it?
I think there's a couple of factors. One I mentioned already is this kind of always connected nature, having some sort of network connectivity that's always available to us. And I think another thing is just simply demand. The device manufacturers, the carriers, everybody is starting to figure out that the services need to orbit around a central thing, and the most central thing is you and I. We need to have good telemetry from our devices, and when I say telemetry, just information that we can use to enhance what's going on in our life. So like today, this whole week, I've had my fitness band on. And the great thing about this fitness band is not only does it count the steps that I've used and the calories that I've burned, it also will vibrate and kick me if I've been sitting down too long and say, hey, you need to get up and you need to be active. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, sure
we can
is.
get self-occupied, sitting down, talking, doing whatever we're doing. And, for me anyway, getting up and moving is a good thing.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's 5 of us here in this studio. 3 of us are wearing fitness devices of one form or another, and 3 of us I know, and Megan over there is doing the same thing. We wear them all the time, and they actually do work because they not compel you, but they give you the impetus to do that little bit more, to get up, to walk around, and all the rest of it. So that's working well. Whether the rest of the Internet of Things will be quite as impressive remains to be seen, of course. But there are so many potential applications out there.
Absolutely, there are. If you look at like what we're announcing here at Mobile World Congress, we've announced a smart energy management pack. And it's really going to enable 3 very specific things. One is it will allow carriers to work with utility companies to go beyond just the smart meter reading experience and start to do enterprise, apartment, industrial, environmental automation. It will also provide value to municipalities. So we've enabled what we call streetlight management. So the ability for the city to determine which streetlights are on and when based upon the need and demand. And also there's an added benefit that they can go onto past just the management of the light. They interconnect these lights via something called Wi-Fi mesh. And once they've put a Wi-Fi mesh up on all the streetlights, they can now start to become a connectivity provider via that network.
Right.
Then the third value that we've brought is home automation for you and I, so that we can control our environment. And we feel like we've done it in quite a unique and compelling way. So we've made it a social platform that has gamification features to it. So not only can you monitor the energy you use in your home, manage the energy that you use in your home, you can start to compete with the whole family to see who is the best energy saver, or you can compete with your whole neighborhood. And that gamification part of a service like this really compels people to want to win and do better. And when we do that, we contribute to using our resources that we have more responsibly and becoming a greener and more aware as we participate in our environment.
Fascinated by what you said about the street lighting. Are you saying basically that under certain circumstances you could have a municipality, a parish, or whatever it might be, that could become a carrier in its own right because of that, or some kind of a presence? Can you sort of elucidate?
Yeah, it absolutely is. So if you imagine, a city block might have 2, maybe even 3 street lights on it, one at each end and one in the center. And in order to communicate to those streetlights, you have to have some sort of a network.
Indeed.
And the municipality might decide to haul fiber or something or copper to those lights in order to get the initial connectivity, or a more effective means would be use something called Wi-Fi mesh and allow them to communicate through the mesh with each other. Well, once they have Wi-Fi on all the streetlights, which are on all of the blocks, that then gives them the opportunity to become a communications provider for that particular municipality. They can do that in collaboration and cooperation with a carrier, which would certainly help both them and the carrier, allow the carrier to do something like Wi-Fi offload, and that while providing the connectivity out to the Wi-Fi access point for the municipality. And it allows the municipality to provide something for the citizenry, and that is internet wherever you are within the confines of the city.
It's fascinating. The reason I asked you the question, Jeff, is because we've talked about HP's role and the rest of it. We've covered the fact that there are wireless networks, Wi-Fi networks, there are fixed networks and all the rest of it. Is the carriers that we know now, important to IoT? Because yes, sure, they can get something out of it by being part of a Wi-Fi message, or say like that. But aren't they going to have their noses put out of joint if these things proliferate all over the place and basically information data is being carried on something which isn't a regular network and which the telcos aren't involved in?
Yeah, so I think that it's all a matter of seizing the opportunity. So there are going to be cases where the mobility that's provided by the traditional carrier operator and service provider is absolutely necessary. Think of connected car and the aspirations that we have. The mobile carrier is the only one that's going to really be able to deliver an in-vehicle entertainment experience for the customer. As well, there's going to be a lot of safety-related issues that we're going to want to tackle. Cars being able to talk to each other, cars being able to talk back up to the cloud and give information about the health of the vehicle and whether or not you need to get service on that thing before you go 300 kilometers down the road.
Sure.
Because the car is tremendously mobile, you're going to have the traditional mobile service providers involved. So I see them as a key and critical component to this whole story. And they can move beyond just transport. So another thing that the carrier brings to the table is a vast collection of data across fleets of devices. And they don't have to be all the same devices, they can be different types. And then provide the opportunity to mine that data in a secure and sort of private way so that you can understand new pieces of information and insight out of that, allow the carrier to be able to monetize that, and in some cases there will be opportunities to enhance our lives. I mean, it'd be very interesting in telehealth or telemedicine to know that a particular region within a city or a country was experiencing something similar that wasn't happening in the rest of the sensors that you were looking at. And those are the kind of things where IoT can step into our lives and really improve it.
A final question to you, Jeff. We're here at Mobile World Congress 2016. Let's hope we're fit and healthy and sane enough to come back again next year and meet again and talk then. What do you think the position of IoT will be in 12 months' time? The industry is moving so fast. Networks are changing so very quickly, it's almost impossible to keep track of what's going on. 12 months from now?
So 12 months from now, I believe that we'll start to move from gadgets to things that we actually rely on every day. We were talking about our fitness bands, and some interesting statistics on fitness bands. A lot of them are purchased. About 90% of them end up going into a desk drawer or something like that after about 3 months.
Really?
And then there's 10% of us that continue on with them.
I'm one of those.
I think that we're going to find 12 months from now that the sophistication of the things like a fitness band and other sensors start to provide enough of a critical value to us that we'll hold on to them like we hold on to our smartphone.
Right.
And we won't let them out of our sight. So that's what I mean by I think we'll see things move from kind of this gadget phase into things that are indispensable and we won't let leave our sight.
Well, it's been great to talk to you again. Interesting as ever. Jeff Edlund, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Martin. Good to see you again.